Right then. Well, it's bloody cold. If you're not from the UK, and you're wondering what the weather's like, snow and ice. I mean, I forgot to de-ice my car, so I might as well film a video while I'm de-icing the car and go into the gym. And yesterday morning, it was -5. Like, what the hell is that all about? -5. That's crazy. That could be the lowest I think I've seen it. Well, that I noticed anyway. So, warm clothes, it is. But yeah, this morning, what an achievement this morning. I've accomplished something sooner than I thought I would have. After looking at some comments this morning from some of my videos, I've noticed, which I said I wasn't going to do, but I am doing, because there's not that many. And what I've accomplished is I've finally got some hate, which is crazy. It only took 200 views on a video to see hate, which is wild to me. There's only two, but then again, if you stood in a room full of, with 200 people, there's going to be at least one person in there that's going to hate you, I guess, or going to have some negative shit to say about you. But it's wild to me that I've already got hate. And the hate was, I don't remember, but I was called a narcissist, which I have commented on before, actually, in videos. I have said, this is egotistical. It's not narcissism, absolutely not. But, you know what I mean? It's filming yourself, all about you. And, yeah, I have to agree. It is narcissistic, kind of. Depending on what depending on what you're talking about, I guess. But so let's talk about hate, and let's talk about how to not let it affect you, because it doesn't affect me, and naturally that doesn't affect me. No, it's not a massive thing. There are many people out there that probably wouldn't affect either. But some people, I mean, God, I know some people that just can't not care about other people's opinion. And I'm just not necessarily, Jesus, that's bright. I'm just not necessarily one of those people that cares so much about what other people think about me. Unless it's a loved one, or unless it's, I guess, a friend who's pulling you to the side and maybe telling you something that you might need to hear. But negatively, you can call me whatever name you want. You can say anything. You can call me mum, call me dad, call all my family members, say horrific shit. And I don't think it would affect me because, one, I know they're just words. And when someone's trying to insult you, they're gonna say wild shit. You know what I mean? That doesn't necessarily actually truly mean anything. And then there's the other thing of, well, you. If you truly know yourself, like I think I truly know myself, words that someone else is going to say to me, I'm just not really going to take on board. Unless, the only exception is if it's sort of criticism to help you improve. If it's just absolute slander and it's just negativity, to me, just naturally in my brain, it's not logical to associate that with, oh, that's the truth, when you truly know yourself. Because when you know who you are, someone else's opinion just can't dictate your life. It's not actually the first time I've ever been called a narcissist, which is funny. But it doesn't affect me because I know I'm not a narcissist. I know I don't only think of myself. I actually think of other people more than myself. I would almost look after someone else rather than over looking after myself, or prioritize someone else over me. I'm not extremely selfish when it comes to doing things. Sure, I might think of myself all the time, but who doesn't? Who doesn't think of themselves all the time? Because you've got your own inner voice, your own criticisms and stuff like that. So it's ridiculous to think, oh, someone's called me a narcissist, I'm going to believe it. I mean, I don't know if that's just me, but that's kind of just common sense and logic, that someone's saying that to you and it's not you, doesn't affect it. I guess it's probably the hate that you get that's a little bit true, that touches you a little bit, that it's like, oh, that kind of is me. But even then, we're not perfect. There's no need to be perfect. There's no need to try and be perfect, because you're never gonna attain it. You're never gonna actually reach perfection. You're always gonna have some negative traits. You're definitely gonna have, you're definitely gonna have traits that other people perceive as negatives, and you might not perceive as a negative. That's absolutely gonna happen. And it's just up to you whether you actually want that trait. One, if you can even help it. Maybe it's just your natural way. But, when it comes to hate, it's almost like you've got to look at also who's saying it. Is that person, one, mentally sane? Two, are they happy with their own life? Or are they just projecting, their own sort of hate for themselves onto you? A lot of people do that. A lot of people go, because my life's not great, I'm going to tell you also that your life's not great. Almost like it's not fair. Like it's not fair that you've got this, you're doing this. The person that anyone that comments on my stuff negative, I just take it as like they need help. Like they're suffering. Because I could never imagine. I mean, I don't really comment on videos either way, but so I could definitely not ever imagine commenting something negative. Like that's just not me. I might think something negatively, but I'm not gonna. Why would I go out my way to comment something unless I wanted attention? And that's how I see it when negative comments come your way, especially on social media. These people want attention. These people want to be heard. These people are hurting inside, that they want you to know that they're hurting inside. Sort of, it's a bit unconsciously, really, because they're not really ever going to admit it. But what sort of hate do you have inside yourself where you're going to be commenting and bringing other people down? I've always tried to not be a person that's going to bring everyone down. Don't get me wrong, emotions might get the best of me, and you might argue, you might say some stuff in the moment or whatever. We're also only human. But to intentionally and consistently hate, there's something wrong with you, basically, is what I'm saying. And that's why you've got to take it. Well, you can't. I'm gonna say take it with a pinch of salt, but you can't take it off someone like that, because they're not even in the right mind for you to listen to them. And then the other thing is, would that person ever even say it to your face? More than likely not. That's how I look at it, especially social media hate, is how many of these people would ever say it to your face? And it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to hate. It's a lot easier to say kind shit. It's a lot easier to say honest shit on social media because no one's with you. It's easier for me to speak here on camera because there's no one in the car. There's no one around me. I don't have to get into the flow of things to start speaking. I'm already on my own. It's a lot easier. So it's a lot easier to hate when you're on your own and when you're just, alone at night on your phone typing and your life shit and you're feeling sorry for yourself. It's so easy just to hate. And you've got to take that into consideration when you're reading stuff. Because people don't also know you. I think that's also the difference with when people would say it to your face. Because I guarantee these celebrities will have people say negative stuff to the face. But it'll be a quick, you know what I mean? So if I see you, I say it, and then I'm off. And that to me shows the situation because they don't know you, they don't get to know you. And that's all it is. How can someone have a complete judgment of me when they've never met me? They've only seen videos. It's unless you watch every single video, it's gonna be hard to get a true representation of who I am without ever being in person with me. I guarantee my friends watching this or anyone that knows me watching this will be watching it and going, oh, seems a bit different. Seems a bit, it doesn't seem like what it's like in real life because it's not real life, it's a camera. And also, like I said, I'm on my own. It's easier to talk like this. Not saying that I'm a different person around people. I'm just saying it's going to be a slightly different sort of interpretation, if that makes sense. So, of course, that's going to be the same with random strangers and hate. And the reason I'm making this video isn't because, I'm getting loads of hate. Yeah, it's just one comment. But I've also got to say thank you to that comment because it sparked this thought. It sparked this thought for anyone who is getting hate or anything like that. It's like you've got to almost stay true to yourself, and that's where the issue is. And that's where hate sparks this thought for me of, do you truly know yourself? Do you truly know who you are? Because if you don't, anyone else's influence can affect you. Any little comment can affect you. And that, to me, is a scary thought that someone's words can have an influence over you so easily. And it might be different for these celebrities that get hundreds and thousands of hate, like people that hate on them. Absolutely, that could be different. If I ever get there, I'll let you know. But more than likely, if that would ever happen to me, which is it's a different situation than what you get in real life, I wouldn't be reading comments. Joe Rogan talks about, you hear him all the time say, don't read the comments. Because even if there were positive comments, it's inflating your ego. And it's not a true representation of life, of the world, of the people you know. And if they're all negative comments, or not even all, if there's a mixture of hate in there, that's also not a true representation of life. For these people that get millions of views, hundreds of thousands of views, maybe even 10,000 views, realistically, have you ever been in a room with 10,000 people? I mean, the biggest room I've been in is 50,000, is, I think, 80,000, 90,000, 80,000, whatever Old Trafford is. I've been in a stadium for football. That's the most amount of people. And it's like you forget because it's online, but that's how many eyes are on these people. And there's no way, if I was ever stood in that stadium, that every single person in there is going to agree with what I'm saying. He's going to like me, and he's going to hate me either. Do you know what I mean? There's going to be a mixture of things, and the way I look at it is, if you put it in terms of that, and put it in terms of, well, what can you grasp? What concept can you grasp realistically in the real world? You would be a narcissist if you expected everyone in that room and everyone in that stadium to like you, to think you're great, to think the same things as you. That is narcissistic. What the hell is going on here? So just because it's online, just because it's not in person, doesn't mean you have to interpret it any differently. You know, you've got to use your head for these things. And I'm sure when I start getting a lot more comments years down the line, I won't look at comments. I won't need to look at comments. But right now I look at comments because there's enough there's enough to deal with. There's enough to, what's the word? There's enough to sort of see that, yeah, this is related to real life. Not that I'm taking everyone's opinion literally and I'm hanging on to every word. I'm more replying to comments for everyone else. You know, for those people that are commenting that might want, might want a response, or might, took the time to comment on someone who's not getting any views. It's quite kind to do that, and I do ask for your thoughts to read those. But yeah, it's wild. Only took 200 views to get some hate. I don't know what reflection that has on society, but that person needs some care. That person needs some love. That person probably feels lonely, and I feel a bit sorry for them. Hopefully, I do wish them good luck. Hopefully they get what they need. But yeah, thanks for sparking that thought. But yeah, anyway, peace.